My life is officially complete now that I have heard Alex Terrible speak Spanish. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also do not forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. So I have been in manifestation mode because Slaughter Per Bell is currently in their Latin America tour. So I don't know if you guys have been going through the band members' social media accounts. You will find comments from me from at It's Lielers. And just basically saying, like, for example, with Alex Terrible social media, I think I started saying, hey, start practicing on the Spanish. I literally was like, okay, my life will be complete once I hear Alex speak in Spanish. And then another clip, I was like, okay, I'm still waiting on Alex speaking in Spanish. So then I want to say it was Alex and then doing a collaboration with Slaughter Per Bell's Instagram account where it starts off with that video of Alex saying, Viva Mexico, cabrones. And I was like, hell fucking yeah. I was not expecting, by the way, for him to acknowledge my comment. Because, yeah, I was literally like, okay, my life will be complete once I hear Alex speak Spanish. To my life is now complete now that I heard Alex speak Spanish. So, yeah, he liked the comment on Instagram. So I was like, pin it. But still, I'm really, really happy. And I've been seeing so many videos of them just going not only to Mexico City, but they went to Bogota, Colombia. I think they went to Lima, Peru. And they recently stopped at Chile. And the thing that was so funny, I want to say it was when they were in Peru, was that they were exposed to Daddy Yankee's Gasolina music. And I just hear him, like Alex, Jack Simmons, and then the drummer, who I cannot pronounce his name, by the way, which I'm very, very sorry. But they're all on their phones and they play the song at the same time, listening to Gasolina. And I don't know if it's the tour manager of Slaughter Per Bell who's like inserting that video of, you know, their shenanigans while they're on their Latin America tour. Either way, I was like, hell fucking yeah, I love it. So hopefully they do go around to Latin America once again, because obviously they do need more exposure for not only just Slaughter Per Bell, but to any other bands as well. And then I also want to hear other members talk in Spanish. I got to hear the drummer, again, can't pronounce his name, but he was saying like it was like a soda, like he was saying naranja or something like that. And the way how like Russians actually talk in Spanish, because we can roar our R's, so can they. They say it like nothing, and I'm just like, yeah, that's what I love about, you know, my Hispanic community blending in with the Russian community. Either way, I'm just really happy that they're having the time of their lives over there. I'm still waiting for that North American tour, just saying. But anywho, yes, I think I mentioned in the previous episode, I feel like, yeah, we're probably going to have to do bi-weekly episodes because, yes, last week I was at the Deftones concert, which, oh my God, I don't know how, but for some reason I lost my voice the next day. Yes, I was losing it for obvious reasons because it was my first time seeing Deftones live. But boy, did they pull off a good show. And we're going to talk about something else later on in the music category. Doesn't have to involve maybe Deftones, but just a little bit. There is like a extra dates announcement. But I will say this. I had a shit ton of fun. Oh my God, will I see them again the next time they come? Hell fucking yes. Just change who's the opening act. Not Fleshwater. If anything, bring them back so they can have a longer set. But yeah, y'all can figure out the rest. However, I was not expecting for Deftones to literally perform one of my favorite songs. And I saw the set list thinking, oh, this is what's going to be like for every other show. No, it was not. And I should have like kept track of the songs because I'm not sure if they're changing a certain song depending what venue they're in. So for us, for example, this is the set list we got. So we started off with Be Quiet and Drive Far Away. Then we got My Own Summer, Diamond Eyes, Tempest, Swerve City, Fate Sarah, I think. I don't know how you pronounce that one, but they call it Fate. And then Digital Bath, Prayers and Triangles, You've Seen the Butcher, Rocket Skates, Sex Tape, and then this is where I started losing it. Because I thought we were going to get Bloody Cave based on the set list that I previously saw. But then Around the Fur started playing. And I was like, by the way, this is not my favorite song, but it's one of my favorites. And so I'm over here like looking at my sister because that's who I went with. And I was like, wait a second, this wasn't on the set list. But either way, oh my God, let's go ahead and lose it, right? And then right when that song ended, then I started hearing the next song they were playing. And I started losing it. To a point that people were looking at me weird. And my sister was like, they probably aren't OG Deftone fans. Because if they're not freaking out for a song that's not even that popular, that doesn't even have a music video, are they really Deftones fans? So I was like, okay, fuck it, whatever. I'm losing it. So the whole time I kept screaming, oh my God, we got Head Up. Oh my God, they're playing Head Up. Head Up is happening. Are you shitting me? I'm going to see Head Up live. I just kept saying that over and over again. They played Head Up. If you listen to Deftones, I highly recommend Head Up. So the fact that I got to see it perform live, oh my God. And I think that was one of the main reasons why my voice was gone the next day. But either way, after Head Up, we got Rosemary, Hole in the Earth, Change, Genesis, and then the encore songs were Minerva, Bored, and 7 Words. Here's the funny part. If you guys follow me on social media, and yes, that includes even subscribe into YouTube because I also uploaded that video there. I basically grabbed all the clips of where I caught my boy Chino Moreno dancing. And it wasn't just like regular dancing. It's like a mixture of kind of like cumbia dancing because, you know, Chino is half Hispanic. So I grabbed all those clips, smashed it into one video, added the song. It's very, very good, by the way. I highly recommend it. It's Llorar by Los Socios del Ritmo. And it blends in so well. And I'm like, hell fucking yeah. So definitely go check it out. If you haven't done so, you know, like it, repost it, whatever. I don't know how you can do it on YouTube, but it's there too. But yeah, that's how you know I was having so much fun. Deftones, thank you for putting one hell of a show. And yes, I will see you guys soon once again. Because wow. Oh my God. But enough about that rant. This week, we're going to be talking about Sleep Token. Yes. So as I mentioned literally 2 weeks ago on my last episode, there were talks about a possible new song coming from Sleep Token. And we're going to be talking about that along with their new album, tour, everything. I'm also going to be talking about Coco 2. Apparently it's in the works. What? And then I'm also going to be talking about a lot of gaming news. Literally Split Fiction, Dead Stranding 2, and then a collaboration with Joe Hendry and PUBG. Since we're talking about Joe Hendry, we're also going to be talking about what's coming up for WrestleMania since we're slowly approaching it, and how I cannot take John Cena serious, especially now that he's a heel. Anywho, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this episode started. Now, before we kick off the categories, let's talk about this tiny drama involving Ghost Adventures' Aaron Goodwin. So I found out, and literally I thought it was fake news and whatnot until I started doing my research. But in case you guys don't know who Aaron Goodwin is, there is this popular show called Ghost Adventures. We probably know the main guy that's in there, which is Zach Baggins, where he's like, there are things in this world that I don't fully understand. Something like that, you know. We make memes about it and whatnot. But it's the people behind what's happening on those scenes, the camera crew. One of them happens to be Aaron Goodwin. And we don't have anything against him. Like, he seems like a really nice guy, especially, you know, trying to like make the situation a little bit funny here and there because, you know, they're over there hunting ghosts and gathering paranormal experiences. However, I found out that his wife, and is apparently estranged and everything, was plotting to kill him. Literally was soliciting on hiring a hitman to kill his estranged husband. And I'm like, what the fuck? So she was arrested on March 6th on charges of soliciting to commit murder and conspiracy to commit murder, according to Nevada inmate records. So homegirl literally gave the person that she was trying to hire like the schedule of where Aaron was set to film, I'm assuming, Ghost Adventures. And then TMZ reported that on one of her alleged texts, it read, quote, "Am I a bad person because I chose to end his existence, not divorce?" And then afterwards, the wife, whose name is Victoria, has denied plotting that she was going to get her husband, pew pew, and wanting him gone. And then afterwards, Aaron ended up suing his and now gonna be ex-wife. He already filed for divorce and everything, but he's suing her, accusing her of negligence and false imprisonment. Of course, when I saw this post through People magazine's social media accounts, people were going all over the comments, and I think the most popular comment was people saying, quote, "There are things in this world we will never fully understand." Literally, I'm like, come on guys, take it serious. But anywho, let's go ahead and kick off the movies category. As I mentioned earlier, we're gonna be talking about Coco 2. Apparently it is getting a sequel and is officially in the works at Pixar. They are saying that this movie is planned to release in 2029. We gotta wait 4 years for this movie. However, I am agreeing with a lot of people saying that Coco does not need a sequel. If anything, maybe Encanto, because you can make another sequel for that. However, with Coco, you really can't. And I love how this one person by the name of, I want to say is Mr. Omar Samir, said, quote, "They're gonna dig her up for the sequel." But then again, if you think about it, the first movie was called Coco, but we weren't really focused on Coco. But technically the story was revolving around Coco. I really don't know how this can go. But still, 12 years in between, like, again, from one movie to another, yeah, like what another person said, is diabolical. But right now, do whatever you want with this information. We don't know what the plot is going to be for the sequel, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to know anything about it all up until maybe 2028. So, yeah. Anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. So we finally have news of who's been casted in the upcoming Spider-Man 4 movie. And one of them in particular is stranger than others. Sadie Sink has been casted in this movie, and we have no idea who should be playing a role with. Some people are saying, oh, maybe this is going to be another Mary Jane because of the way how Sadie's hair can be interpreted. But others are saying she may possibly be the next Gwen Stacy or even Black Cat at that. There are a few people in the comments that are mentioning this since technically the MCU is slowly trying to incorporate the X-Men. Some people are saying, what if she's the next Jean Grey or even Firestar? Either way, we got to keep our eyes peeled whenever either the teaser trailer or the official trailer comes out to see who she's going to be playing. And then again, this movie is set to release on July 31st, 2026. Let's go ahead and move it along to the next news that I have for you guys. The new trailer of Ballerina, the one that's going to be from the world of John Wick, has been released. And oh my god, I feel like we have an understanding of what the plot's going to be. So yes, it is going to be focused on the ballerina herself, played by Ana de Armas. And you will basically get to see the female version of John Wick set to be on a mission to hunt this guy whose name is Daniel Pine, played by Norman Reedus. At first, I was like, Daryl Dixon, you're on the wrong franchise. But still, I'm assuming that he's going to be playing the villain on this role, which I'm excited for. And as you keep watching this trailer, it looks really good and everything. But it also seems like things get out of hand, and then the director, played by Angelica Houston, which I'm assuming, the one that played Morticia, it looks like she sends somebody to kind of like calm the ballerina down, or like, hey, stop doing what you're doing. It's gonna get nasty. So we're gonna go ahead and send the Baba Yaga himself, John Wick, Keanu Reeves, my boy. When I saw him, I'm like, ah! But the way how it was, it looks like he's trying to stop her. And I'm like, wait, are you gonna kill her or what? Or worse, are you gonna injure my boy Keanu? Like, what's gonna happen? I'm so excited for this movie already. I don't even care anymore. So the Ballerina movie is set to release in theaters on June 6th. I'm like, great. More reasons of why I'm going to be living at the movie theaters this summer. Now, the last thing I have for you guys in the movies category is that Sydney Sweeney is set to star in a horror movie that's based on a Reddit thread. So some of you guys are familiar that Reddit is a space where people can put their creative thoughts or even answer some random questions that you're afraid to ask Google. However, I was not familiar with the Reddit thread Are No Sleep. In case you guys haven't checked it out, it's basically a place for Redditors to share their scary personal experiences. And I'm over here like, some of it doesn't align. For example, the very first thing I see when I click on this Reddit thread is the title, My Dead Girlfriend Keeps Updating Her Social Media, and she's talking about me. And this is from a Redditor by this_chemical13. I'm like, boy, once I read the title, I'm like, no, that's not even scary. So I'm scrolling, and some of it, like, I guess maybe is a little creepy, but not too creepy enough. I'm pretty sure there is a thread out there with some creepypasta shit that's gonna keep me awake at night. This, however, is probably nothing. So the movie that's being planned, it says that it's gonna be based on the horror story from this thread that is titled, quote, I pretended to be a missing girl so I could rob her family. And some people in the comment section was saying, like, one, hopefully the person who wrote that Reddit is getting a big check for it. And another one saying, nothing is more scarier than being a Redditor. So I went ahead, I found the thread that they were talking about, and this is by JCote12. So it's JCote 12. And it was a very long thing to read. And you guys already know me. I hate reading. So I summarized the whole thing through ChatGPT. And I can give you guys basically the summary of what this movie could potentially be about. So this is what it says. It says, 12 years after Michaela Murray disappeared on the night before her 18th birthday, a woman posing as her returns to the grieving family. The real Michaela vanished after her little brother James saw her car speeding down the road late at night. Her abandoned car was later found near the route to her college boyfriend Tom, who was suspected but ultimately clear. The case went cold and the Murray family was left in uncertainty. The imposter, a desperate woman on the run, stumbles upon a missing persons board and realizes she closely resembles Michaela. Seeing an opportunity, she assumes Michaela's identity, intending to stay just long enough to steal valuables before fleeing again. However, when she arrives at the Murray's home, their overwhelming love and relief made her second-guess her deception. She begins to wonder if Michaela had been just another rebellious teen or if something darker happened to her. James, now 17, is the only one who sees through the lie. He tests her memory with a fabricated story and catches her in the deception. But instead of exposing her, he panics because he believes he knows where his sister really is. Pointing out to the backyard gazebo, he insists that their father built it right after Michaela's disappearance and that their dog once unearthed her bracelet there. James is convinced their father had something to do with Michaela's fate. The story twists from a con artist scam into a deeper mystery, one that suggests Michaela may have never left at all. See, this sounds very interesting compared to any other horror movies that doesn't involve with somebody being possessed. But like cold cases could be the next horror story if you think about it. However, when I went back to the post, which it was from IGN, one person by the name of NYK_foodie_ATX says, since Hollywood is out of new ideas, I fully support all movies being created off of Reddit threads. Because that was a very long thing to read. So I'm like, let me just put it on ChatGPT to get a summary of it. And the summary itself, wow. Like, I'm very interested in seeing what happens next. I mean, already I have some thoughts and theories that maybe Michaela's dad was the one behind killing Michaela. Or, you know, probably has her locked up underneath the gazebo. I don't know if I read that right. But still, I will keep an eye on this potential movie that's going to be coming out. If the trailer does come out, once it's announced, all of that, we'll talk about it eventually once we get more details onto it, because I'm already hooked. And that's all I have for you guys in the movies category. Now let's dive into TV. I did not know this, but apparently Legally Blonde is getting a prequel series. And the reason why I found out is because Deadline announced who's going to be casted as Elle Woods' mom. So in case you guys didn't know, June Diane Raphael, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, will be the mom of Elle Woods. And supposedly this whole series is going to follow Elle in high school, how she became, I guess, the attorney that she was in the movies. And this series is expected to be released on Prime Video and is actually executive produced by Reese Witherspoon, who was the original Elle Woods. And speaking of Amazon, so in case you guys didn't know, God of War is getting a TV series. However, not only they're already working on season 1, but they already confirmed season 2 before season 1 is even released. That's how you know this series is gonna be good. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I think the way how Amazon is seeing it, it's like video games turned into series is probably gonna be the next thing. Why I say that is because they already renew Fallout and then also Secret Level, which again, definitely go check out before the second seasons come out for either or. And then they're also working on a Warhammer 40k series, you know, with Henry Cavill being behind the scenes and also starring in. So with this, with God of War, I'm like, I'm hopeful, you know. So I'm like, it's sad though because Peacock has Twisted Metal, but that's okay. I have the streaming platform, so I'm okay. I'll be good. And then the next confirmed series is based on Power Rangers. So Disney Plus already ordered for the series to happen and it's already in the works. I don't know how I feel about it given with the live action Power Rangers movie that came out, which for some reason I actually own. But I'm like, okay, hopefully it's not gonna be just like the one that we saw. Maybe it's gonna be different, and also maybe a different design for the Power Rangers itself. But we'll see how it's gonna happen. Whenever the trailer comes out, we'll probably talk about it and see if it's worth watching or not. And with that being said, that's all I have for you guys in the TV category. Now we're gonna dive into music. We gotta talk about Sleep Token, guys. I know. You guys are probably like, since when do you listen to Sleep Token? And I'm like, bro, I've been listening to it since last year. I told you guys since it entered in my radar, I'm like, yeah, we definitely need to talk about it. And I think the reason why we mainly started talking about Sleep Token was because of the identity reveal, which again, that episode is still available wherever you guys listen to your podcast. But other than that, we did say 2 weeks ago, whenever our last episode aired, was that there was potential teasing of new music coming out from Sleep Token. And yes, after every hint that they have been leading, we finally got Emergence. So basically that's what it was. When you get the both images from Blood and Moon, you combined it and you're basically emerging the images. I'm like, come on, man. It was right there in front of my face. But basically what we emerged was the cover for the single Emergence. And it was not the cover of the album. Yeah, I'll get into that in a bit. But first, let me talk about this song. Literally, it's everything that you would think Sleep Token is, given the fact that they really don't have a set genre. Emergence was another blend, kind of like The Summoning, a very long 6-minute song, but there is music going around, lyrics and whatnot. There was a mixture of rap, and yet we got a ending of what we can assume is a saxophone, probably played by Vessel. But I think I bumped into a video on TikTok where there was a lady that says, no, it was me that did that. Either way, I can just imagine Vessel on the saxophone, maybe in front of a fireplace with the bear rug underneath. Yeah, ladies, you know what exactly I'm talking about. This song was wow. It exceeded expectations, and not only that, you get to see a music video. At first, you would think, oh, it's just the burning flag of the art piece that we already emerged, you know. But the more you watch this music video, there's actually glitches to where you get to see images. And when you combine all those images, It's like, what the hell? And I knew when we said, hey, we got like a Destiny kind of vibe where we're either House Viridian or Feathered Host. And I was like, we're defending something or are we attacking? And in those glitches, we see what it looks like a soldier attacking or defending a creature that we may have seen in probably the Vor music video that Sleep Token released. And so I'm like, wait a second, what is going on? So when you click on the images and you put one and one together, you actually get to see this creature going towards the soldier in attack mode while there's some fire in the background. And the soldier is ready to attack, and next thing you know, it looks like the soldier slain the creature and won the battle for now. So that's why I'm like, why is this soldier giving me House Viridian and why is the creature giving me Feathered Host? That is the potential lore of what this album might be called. And before I get to the album announcement really quick, in case you also guys didn't know, Emergence actually beat Selena Gomez's song that was also released on the same day. And I don't know what the song was called, but hey, given the fact that Selena Gomez has a huge fan base, she released the song Sunset Boulevard, and people were expecting her song to hit #1 automatically. And this is iTunes from where the article from Forbes listed. And next thing you know, Sleep Token releases Emergence, and they were like, you thought. Not only that, Chaperone also released The Giver, and apparently that beat Selena Gomez, but it didn't beat Sleep Token. That's how you know, like, I don't care if people would say, oh, Sleep Token's not rock or Sleep Token's not metal, whatever the hell it is. Our category, like our genre of that type of music is dominating right now, so I'm really, really happy about it. Now back to the album. So yes, not only we got Emergence, the new single that everybody has been waiting for such a long time, Sleep Token announced their new album, Even in Arcadia. So basically we got the same, I want to say they're not cherry blossoms, it's like some pink feather thingy-majobbers. And then we also get to see freaking Jerry the Flamingo on there. That's the name that basically the Sleep Token fan community just gave it. It's not even a pink flamingo, it's like a gray looking one. So they're like, hey, Jerry's in the cover. So that honestly lives rent-free in my mind. But this new album is set to release on May 9th, which is why, oh my god, I'm freaking out because Ghost's new album, Skeleta, releases on April 25th. And then 2 weeks later, boom, I got Even in Arcadia. Oh my god. Honestly, do not talk to me for the following, month after that, because I'll be switching back and forth into the albums, just saying. But also, you thought that was the only thing we have. Same thing with Ghost. Like, we got a new Papa, right? Oh, what could we have with Sleep Token? Vessel's new look. Forget the red and the black. Now we're sporting green and gold. So this is the same colors that we saw on the cover of Emergence's single and House Viridian. So I can only assume maybe Vessel's trying to give the impersonation that he's trying to defend the House Viridian, I don't know, because Homeboy's over there holding a sword and whatnot. And that was basically the cover of the tour announcement, which again, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, people were saying, oh my god, are those Jerry's feathers that are behind Vessel? And also the arm cavity, I don't know, what do you call that? That thing that's on Vessel's arm is giving Feathered Host. So I'm like, what is going on? I don't know the freaking lore for it, but do what you will with that information. All right, we're done with, me ranting about the album. Now we gotta talk about the freaking tour. Sleep Token said, all right, we're gonna bless you guys. Not only we're giving you guys the single, the album announcement, we're also gonna be going on tour. And I'm like, oh my god. So they announced the Even in Arcadia tour, an opportunity to gather. And I knew this was going to happen. So the first day, literally, that's going to be kicking off the tour is going to be on September 16 in Duluth, Georgia. I'm over here like, okay, Georgia. maybe potentially, where's a Texas date? There's no Texan date. There's literally only a few dates. It's not like it's going to be like a North American tour. They're going to be visiting like a lot of cities. No, they're only going to be there for a few days. So they're kicking it off on September 16th, making their way all up until October 11th, and they're going to end it in Los Angeles, California. Some of these states are like Orlando, Florida, Louisville, Kentucky, Greensboro, North Carolina, Brooklyn, New York, and so forth, so forth. Let me tell you guys the story of what happened, because the tickets are technically on sale, but it's sold out like crazy. And I got to see it firsthand. A lot of people are expressing their frustrations, especially like on TikTok, for them not able to get either the pre-sale code or the tickets. So the pre-sale kicked off on Thursday, March 20th. I got the pre-sale code. And I was like, okay, we'll see, you know. I was over here debating what day am I going to go now that I got to see where the stops are going to be. So I was like, fuck it. I'll do Georgia. I'll do Duluth, Georgia. Fuck it. Why not? They're kicking it off. I want to see firsthand what am I going to see instead of getting it all spoiled on TikTok or wherever on social media. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So I went ahead and did everything I needed to do before the sale went off. And this is the pre-sale we're talking about. So I signed on to Ticketmaster. I was on the waiting room, maybe literally 10 minutes before the waiting room was going to be open, which was around 10. So 10 a.m. was going to be when the pre-sale kicks off. The waiting room opened up at 9:50, and I was already waiting just for the waiting room to open like around 9:40. So yeah, that's basically my experience. And whenever the waiting room kicked off, it did kind of like kick me out for a bit when I was trying to join the waiting room. But like it was loading for like maybe 10 seconds. And then after that, it's like, oh, you got to click again to join. So when I joined, I had, keep in mind, Duluth, Georgia, the first day, September 16th. When I started going into the queue, there was like over 8,000 people ahead of me. And I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna get a ticket. Ain't no way. I'm like, I'm just gonna see out of curiosity if I could snag myself a ticket. It would be a miracle. And then after that, just see like how much are the prices, what is the VIP offer that they have, you know, stuff like that. And I was probably waiting maybe like 10 minutes for that number to reduce down. And I want to say maybe like around 10:05, I'm assuming, I can't remember, was when I finally got into buying a ticket. When I got on there, the first thing I saw was like everything was sold out. And I'm like, what? But the way how my ticket thingy was set was for 2 tickets. And I'm like, fuck no, I'm going by myself. Fuck this. So when I changed it to 1 ticket, I probably saw only 5 tickets available, and one of them had literally nobody in front. It was the first row, kind of at the very top, but it was center. I quickly clicked on that. I put it in my thing. I purchased it in a span of 1 minute, and I secured my ticket. I'm going to go see Sleep Token live on September 16th at Duluth, Georgia. Oh my fucking God. And because of that, a lot of people are pissed. And I'm just saying this because it's a big discussion whether a true Sleep Token fan should be gatekeeping the other people, because they're pissed that they didn't, again, not only been able to get a pre-sale code or was like out of luck for general admission. When general admission came up on Friday, literally every venue was sold out. And I could have said that, but I was just like, I don't know. Maybe they're probably holding on to tickets for general admission just to see people get like chances on getting it for those that didn't get the pre-sale tickets. But no, like it was completely sold out. And every venue, again, saying, no more tickets, this, and that. However, supposedly the discussion is that Ticketmaster has a policy for this specific tour, and they're trying to do it with other tours too, where scalpers are unable to resell those tickets. So if you were to see tickets available like on Vivid Seats, SeatGeek, and I forgot StubHub, if you're seeing availability, chances are you're not going to be able to snag the ticket, because Ticketmaster is not letting people who have already purchased a ticket be able to transfer or resell it. So I'm like, well, joke's on you because I'm not planning to resell it. I want to go see Sleep Token live. But it sucks for those people that really wanted to go see them and now are out of luck for the same reason that scalpers are over here trying to, get rid of the tickets themselves. I don't know. The frustration is being shown mostly on my TikTok where people are saying, oh, they're not even Sleep Token fans, the people that snag tickets, this, and that. But the other discussion on the other hand that I've been seeing too is that people are like, no, be grateful for Sleep Token to be having a huge fan base now. So what? They got popular. What? Does that mean you're going to stop listening to them? And if you're going to stop listening to them and want to be unique and all that shit, go support your local bands instead. Like the same way how you're over there, waiting for tickets, go do the same thing for a local band, and be unique, whatever. I'm not saying I support either or. I want to say for sure is that, hey, Sleep Token got popular. So what? That's good for them. They're getting our money and we work hard for our money to be spending it on them. So for me, I'm just like, I got my ticket, yeah, sure. I work hard for my money and all, but I always wanted to see Sleep Token live. So do what you will with that information. As for the people that missed out on this opportunity, there are so many other fans still to this day that have not been able to see Sleep Token live. But at the same time, I'm over here like there are reasons why they haven't been able to do so because either they don't have the funds to, purchase the tickets or something's going on with the whole pre-sales code. I don't understand how many people didn't receive a pre-sale code. Did you follow the instructions that Sleep Token has been posted on social media in order for you to get your pre-sale code? Because again, I got it literally the day before and it was a unique code. You can't share it because it's only for you. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm prepared, whatever. I was not expecting to snag a ticket myself. By the way, whenever I did purchase my ticket, I wanted to go back to see, because again, I was panicking and I wanted to see how much the lower level was going to be. And when I went ahead and went back to Ticketmaster, the queue was literally over 50,000 people just waiting to snag a ticket. And I'm over here like, bro, those 50,000 people that are waiting are shit out of luck, because guarantee you by the time I get back on that lobby, it's completely sold out. So yeah, I don't know what to say on that aspect, only that, man, it sucks. Yeah, I get it. I have never seen a band have so much success and literally selling out every single venue from this tour that they announced. And maybe, I don't know if the band members or the promoter for Sleep Token didn't realize, oh my God, we need to bump the venues. Like, kind of like that. At this point, is Sleep Token even considered like an arena band? Like, look at Deftones, for example. They perform at the Toyota Center. I was honestly thinking the same thing. I was like, maybe Sleep Token is already big enough that, hey, they might come back to Houston, but instead of going to like Bayou Center or Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, they're probably going to consider performing at the Toyota Center. And I was over here like, please let them come to the Toyota Center. But no, they went to Duluth. And the arena, I think it's really, really small, but there were so many seats available at the same time. It's like they don't realize how big they are. And maybe, potentially, either one or the other. Please, for the love of God, do not add extra dates before my September 16th date. I'm just saying, because I really wanted to see first hand what I'm going to expect. But who knows? Maybe they might add more dates after Los Angeles. I'm not sure. Or they're probably going to announce a North American tour the following year in 2026. Because this album, once it kicks off, I'm pretty sure they're going to continue to promote it until they make another album. But if, again, they do make another album, oh yeah, they already should know by now they need to like bump up to arenas and add more dates on their tour. So yeah, at that point, who knows? Maybe the next album, they're going to be considered stadium bands. Because yeah, the success that Sleep Token got is really good. I'm really proud of them. But I'm hoping that, again, the fan base that has been there since the beginning welcomes the new fan base and not rejects them, because again, I think for everybody, not just Sleep Token fans, But anybody that is even considering listening to metal is a good thing, okay? Because we're not focused on the popular music. It's like, come on. The rock and metal genre, whatever you guys want to call it, is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And that is the next thing we need to talk about. So Rockfeed posted about how rock is not dead because of scenarios that have been happening so far in 2025. For example, Conor McGregor was getting in the pit at Limp Bizkit. I'm like, what? He listens to them? You know, the other one is System of a Down and Metallica packing stadiums. Crossfade is obviously back. Slaughter to Prevail is teaming up with Baby Metal. Disturbed, 3 Days Grace, and Seven Dust are touring together. And I'm over here like, hey, we got a whole new thing with Papa from Ghost, and we have a whole new thing with Sleep Token. So I'm just like, what's going on? Like, literally, it's a good time to be a fan in these categories. And I only keep saying these categories because people give me shit saying, oh, well, Ghost and Sleep Token are not metal. But then again, another people are like saying, well, if this is metal, I don't want to listen to it. I'm like, bro, it's the new generation of metal. So yeah. And speaking of Ghost, I need to mention something really quick. So Tobias Forge did an interview mentioning about how the fans are so into the lore. They survive the lore of Ghost, this and that. And he did say on the interview, quote, if fans need the lore in order to like the band, then that element will probably be over quite soon. And I'm like, you see what you did here? Okay, now I understand why Sleep Token fans get upset. Okay, I'm not saying, oh my god, the band's fan base is revolving around that lore itself. But at the same time, I'm like, for me, the lore can go away as long as the music still stays entertaining. And the only reason why the lore was so entertaining was because they made a movie out of it and focusing on that specific lore. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, if you guys want another right here, right now, number 2, just saying, continue the lore. But no, honestly, yeah, it does make perfect sense because Tobias doesn't want people to listen to band just for a storyline when he can just make music regardless of the storyline. Keep in mind, like, for example, Phantom Mind. Phantom Mind was just like a release of covers, and I'm thinking maybe it didn't do so well because there wasn't a lore behind it, or maybe people were listening to it and they were just mostly focused on the cover itself, thinking like, oh, is the next Papa gonna look like, you know, this? And since we're still talking about Papa, Rolling Stone UK magazine released some images of Papa's costume design that we may potentially see in this upcoming tour. We're talking mechanical bats. Literally him with his bat wings, all mechanical. However, the mask is giving us Phantom of the Opera. And I mean, he did made a cover song for that one too. And then we also get to see a more detailed look of how Perpetua is gonna look with his full Papa outfit. It's purple, black, silver. The hands though, it's not the silver gloves that we saw before. Now they look more like mechanical arms. And then the face mask is still giving us Phantom of the Opera. So I'm kind of hopeful that we're still going to see glimpses of Copia in the next coming tour. Even though it's a different Papa, you know, Perpetua. But we all know it's still the same Tobias behind there. So maybe a still funny yet serious kind of personality. I don't know. But hey, I'm excited. I can't wait to see them this coming August. I need the tour already. See what I mean though? Like literally Ghost's tour that I'm going to go see is going to be on August 16. And then a month later, boom, I'm heading to Georgia and go see Sleep Token. What the fuck? I mean, more reasons why Slaughter to Prevail needs to release Grizzly. Please complete my summer. And then after that, I'll be happy. After that, my 2025 will be completed. Hey, all I'm saying though, if they release a tour, I don't know how I'm going to take the news. I'm probably going to lose it, you know, with excitement and all of that. But anywho, let's go ahead and move it along with some sad news. I know we briefly mentioned this band, I want to say on the last episode. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but the band Gel has disbanded, and it's crazy because they were set to tour with Volbeat, Spirit Box, and they had to cancel all of that. The main reason why they had to disband is because of their former guitar player, whose name is Anthony Webster, literally just abusing the rest of the band members. Some of the things that he would do, for example, will be post nude pictures of the band members on Reddit just cuz. The other thing that was basically impacting the finances is that he would spend most of the money that was earned by the band on himself, like to pay off his own rent, and then doing transactions like on OnlyFans and sometimes on Cash Apps. And I was like, damn, like, talk about an abusive relationship. And the band did disclose that, yeah, they put up with it for so long because they just didn't want to accept the reality of it and then officially just say, you know what, we're done. We can't do this anymore. We're just going to go ahead and disband. I mean, part of me is like, well, I never heard of them, nor I listened to them. But it's sucky for a band to even encounter that, especially like for somebody that was like, oh my God, I'm set for life. Like, this band is going, we're going to go on tour. And then it got ruined by a whole different person. So, yeah. Oh, well. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Deftones. So, as I mentioned before, they did add more dates for their North American tour. However, they have split their opener. For example, on one side we have Phantogram, the Barbarians of California. They're going to be performing with Deftones starting on August the 22nd in Vancouver, making their way all up until Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, and then coming back to the States in Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Buffalo, and then ending it on September 7th in Quebec. Then after that, they're still going to be on tour. However, they're going to be switching with Idols and continuing with the Barbarians of California. And that one will be starting on September 8th in Montreal. And then after that, they'll be in Cleveland, Baltimore, St. Louis, Denver, and ending it on September 17th in Kansas City, Missouri. Now, how I mentioned before in the beginning of this episode, I said that what is up with Mars Volta? Of course, they're no longer going to be touring with Deftones starting in August the 22nd. And I have some thoughts about it because when I went to go see Deftones live, obviously they were opening with Fleshwater and then Mars Volta. Fleshwater, I understand, yes, people were hyped, everybody was, very engaged with the band, and Fleshwater did make it fun to watch. However, when Mars Volta showed up, I started seeing what people were complaining about, and part of me was not okay with what I saw. And the only reason why I say this is because, okay, Mars Volta, I thought they were up and coming, but then again, they've been around for quite some time. But when I saw them perform, the music was good. It's just the way how everything started was so awkward. Like the lead singer, I want to say, or the person that's in charge of the whole band, he just showed up, nothing like, hey, Houston, whatever. He just showed up, started flipping a page, and then just stood there for a bit, and then boom, it just started performing like nothing. I'm like, no introduction or anything, and people were excited to see them at first, but yeah, because of that awkward start, people were like seeming weird. Like, and what I mean by people, I mean the fans, everybody that attended the concert. And so they were performing. Not once they stopped and just to say like, thank you, Houston, or just anything to engage with the audience. They just kept on performing and it felt so freaking long, even I was kind of bored. And then I was like, okay, when is Deftones gonna start? And the way how Mars Volta left, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because once they were done, they just mic dropped and left. And I was like, really? Like, what the fuck, Part of me was just like, okay, if you guys really want to like pop off and be good with the audience, at least fucking say something, Fleshwater, what they did is they were saying, okay, Houston, like, I want you guys to open up the pig, because they were kind of like heavy and whatnot. And yeah, and they kept saying like, thank you, Houston, whatever. And Mars Volta didn't even try to talk to the audience. Like, I was like, and the way how they just dipped out and left, I was like, rude, So I don't know what the fuck is their deal again. And now everybody is putting all that hatred towards them on social media. Obviously, I saw it on TikTok. And whenever I went to their social media account on Instagram, they only have that one post. And I want to say that's where they were going to be on tour. And everybody went into the comment section just hating on them. And I was like, bro, like, y'all could have done better. Like, what the fuck? If it's nerves, sure, I get that. But after a couple of shows, you would be comfortable and at least still engage with the crowd. But whatever. That's them. They're not going to be touring with Deftones anymore. And who knows what's going to happen with their music career after that. But we're going to go ahead and move along. So now let me go ahead and talk about the rest of the tour announcements I have for you guys. One of them is Baby Metal's North American tour, and they're actually kicking it off here in Houston. What? They're going to be joined with Bloodywood opening for them, and that's going to be on all dates. However, on certain dates, they're going to be joined either with Black Veil Brides or Ginger. So from June 13 all up until July 3rd, they're going to be with Black Veil Brides. And again, the first date happens to be here in Houston. They're going to be in Irving, Texas the next day on June 14, making their way to Tampa, Atlanta, Charlotte, Baltimore, New York, Boston, Uncasville, Connecticut. I think that's where it's at. Then we got Philly, Laval, Quebec, Toronto, Ontario, and then ending it at Sterling Heights, Michigan. And then from July 5th all up until July 23rd, they will be joined with Ginger, kicking it off in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that day, and then making their way to Maryland Heights, Chicago, Minneapolis, Denver, Vancouver, Kent, Washington, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, and ending the tour in Phoenix, Arizona on July 23rd. Those tickets are now on sale, so get them while you can. The next tour announcement is for my Latin American listeners. So Avenged Sevenfold will be joined with guests. So far they haven't been announced, but they're going to be touring for their Life is But a Dream Latin American tour. They're going to be kicking it off on September 25th at Buenos Aires, Argentina, making their way down to Santiago, Chile, Curitiba, and São Paulo, Brazil, Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. In case if you guys didn't know, those tickets are on sale. However, in Mexico City, those tickets are sold out, and it was gonna be Avenged Sevenfold joined with Poppy and Mr. Bungle. So who knows if they're gonna add another date? I highly doubt it. But at the same time, it does say here that those tickets sold out in 20 minutes. So you can only imagine the fan base that Avenged Sevenfold has in Mexico City. Anywho, now let's go ahead and move it along. We finally got the set list for Lollapalooza, and I'm like, oh my god. So in case if you guys didn't know, Lollapalooza will be coming back to Grant Park in Chicago, Illinois from July 31st all up until August the 3rd of this year. And headlining is Olivia Rodrigo, Tyler the Creator, Sabrina Carpenter, but we already know they kind of like made up. They're not beefing anymore. We also got Rufus, I think that's how you pronounce it, Du Sol. Then we got Luke Combs, Twice, A$AP Rocky, Korn is going to be there. Shocker. And then we're also going to be getting Gracie Abrams and Doechii. Alongside with them, there's so many other artists. I think like maybe 95% of them I never heard of. But the ones that I have heard of is Cage the Elephant, the Marias, Dijo, T-Pain, Artemis, you know, the person that made the song, you know, I like the way you kiss me, I can tell you miss me, I can tell you miss. You know, that song that's viral on TikTok, that one. And then we also got Rebecca Black. I literally went looking around this whole list just to make sure I don't miss anybody. But then when I saw Rebecca Black, I'm like, the girl that made the Friday song, Rebecca Black? Sure, okay, you know. Anywho, if you guys are interested in attending Lollapalooza, those tickets are on sale at lollapalooza.com. The next festival I need to talk about, I was not expecting it. I'm like, this is the first time I see this. So there is this festival called Furnace Fest, and they're gonna have a ton of artists. I was surprised. So from October 3rd to the 5th at the Sloss Furnace's National Historic Landmark in Birmingham, Alabama. Oh my God. My hometown is going to be having, starting off on Friday, headlining will be Jimmy Eat World. And they're going to be joined with so many artists like Kubla Khan, Texas, what the hell. Also, Mom Jeans, Hot Water Music, Saves the Day, Comeback Kid, Drain, Speed, Texas is the Reason, and so many other more. On Saturday, headlining that day will be Dropkick Murphys alongside with Suicidal Tendency, Amberlin, Less Than Jake, Say Anything, Glare, Nora, On Broken Wings, PD USA, I think that's how you pronounce it, Zao, and many more. And then lastly, on Sunday, headlining that day will be Knocked Loose. Oh my God. And then they're also going to be joined with Citizen, Converge, and then there is an artist that is blanked out, so I don't know who that could be. And then we also got Norma Jean, Biohazard, Foundation, Harm's Way, Terror, and many other more. Those tickets are on sale. The easiest way to go, because they don't have a website technically, is from another third-party website, I think. Just go to Furnace Fest's Linktree, which is linktr.ee/Furnace Fest, and there you will have the link to buy the tickets. And then the last festival announcement I have for you guys is called Unhinged Fest, and this one will be taking place at the National Western Stockyards in Denver, Colorado. We got two separate dates, one in July 26th and the next one on July the 27th. On July 26th, we will be having Knocked Loose as the headliners. Alongside with them, they will be joined with the Dillinger Escape Plan, The Garden, Health, Converge, Terror, and many other more. And then headlining the next day will be Lamb of God and In This Moment. Alongside with them, they will be joined with Body Count, Power Trip, Tsunami, Gate Creeper, Angel Dust, Catch Your Breath, and many other more. Those tickets are already on sale at unhingedfest.com. And that's all I have for you guys in the music category. Now let's go ahead and talk about gaming. However, this one topic is not really gaming unless if you consider Legos part of the gaming. I'm only putting it on this category because it kind of relates to the gaming category. So Legos announced that they're going to be releasing a new Lego set focused on Mario Kart. So now we finally got the first glimpse of how this is going to look, and I got the details for all of you guys. Right now, this Lego set is ready for pre-order and is set to release on May 15th of this year. Now, this Lego set in particular is only focused on just Mario himself. I wonder if eventually they'll release like Peach, Yoshi, Luigi, all of them. But first, they're doing this first wave, and for $170, literally $169.99, you will be getting a total of 1,972 pieces to build this Lego set. The crazy part, even though, yeah, sure, it's almost 2,000 pieces for that price, I was expecting the cart itself to be like remote control, moving it and all of that. That would have been hella cool, but no, it's just literally like a figurine, but in Lego set. Anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. Pre-order while you can, by the way. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Split Fiction. So this game has finally been released, and I was not expecting for it to be really popular. So far in the first 48 hours, this game itself sold more than 1 million copies. I'm like, sweet Jesus. If you guys haven't seen the gameplay trailer, definitely go check it out. So far, it's just basically like a co-op game, which is something that we haven't seen in quite some time, especially for PlayStation. And this one is to where you only buy the one copy and you can just play it with anyone online. So I'm like, damn. Talk about a good deal right then and there. This is proof that co-op games are not dead and that the video game industry needs to literally invest on more of this type of game. So Split Fiction became so popular that I decided to leave this next news kind of like in the gaming category, because you're like, wait a second, what's going on? So because of the success, already there is a movie in the works for this particular game. I found the post on IGN and it's saying that multiple Hollywood studios are interested in a film adaptation of Split Fiction. However, other fans are saying, hold up, give it a minute, but It Takes Two and A Way Out had a better story. Why not focus it on there? Which, again, I mean, Amazon, if you're hearing this, if you want to get more series ideas, boom, there you go. Split Fiction, on the other hand, I don't know how that would go, especially the fact that it's being bumped into a movie, not like a TV series. I don't know how we feel about that, but we will keep our eyes peeled for any other details that may come around, and we'll talk about it eventually. Anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. The next thing I have for you guys is Death Stranding 2. We finally got the release date and is set to go live on June 26, 2025, exclusively on PlayStation 5. However, those that do have the digital deluxe edition or the collector's edition will be able to have 2 days of early access on June 24th. There is a lot of mixed reviews about this game. Some people not able to finish the first storyline, and then others are saying, well, we don't have PlayStation, can we get it like on PC or Xbox? So I don't know what y'all want to do with that information, but I'm just gonna leave that for y'all. The next thing I have for you guys is, following the huge success of Space Marine 2, Focus Entertainment and Saber Interactive are announcing that there will be a Warhammer 40k Space Marine 3, and it's already in the works. So whenever we find out when that release date will be, we will talk about it eventually, or maybe even the game trailer itself. And the last thing I have for you guys in the gaming category is that apparently there's a collaboration between PUBG Mobile and Joe Hendry. When I saw the trailer, I'm like, damn, Joe Hendry does a really good cosplay of that guy that we normally see in the cover. And, you know, he turns around and you hear the say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. But anywho, it does say coming soon. So I haven't heard anything since then. It has been posted 2 days ago. So I'm kind of like with my eyes peeled whenever it does get announced. Maybe I'll finally download PUBG Mobile. I haven't played that in a minute. So there's that. And since we're already talking about Joe Hendry, might as well dive into the wrestling category. Man, I was really rooting for Backlash to be in Mexico City, but unfortunately, no. We ended up finding out the next location of WWE Backlash, which happens to be set on May 10th, but it will be held at St. Louis, Missouri, also known as Randy Orton's hometown, which I guess. But at the same time, I'm like, come on, it could have been better. Like, these last 2 years, Backlash was out of the country. And I was really excited, even though, you know, hey, we haven't had a Houston PLE in a minute. But still, I'm like, bro, it would have been better if it was in Mexico City. You could imagine the pop. Hell, it would have sold out like crazy if it would have happened. But no. I guess maybe next year, who knows? However, storyline wise, people are suggesting, okay, if Backlash is gonna be in Randy's hometown, will Randy Orton main event the PLE, and who could his opponent be? Oh my god, everybody started pointing fingers at John Cena. That will probably feed more generations to come, for the same reason that feud has been going on for so long. And yeah, sure, like right now they're okay. I want to say they still post about themselves like on social media. But when it comes to storyline, oh my god. It's the time where it's no longer heel Randy Orton and babyface John Cena. Oh no, the tables have been reversed. Babyface Randy Orton versus heel Cena. We need to see that happen before Cena retires. Honestly, I'm with the fans with this one. So who knows what will happen? I'm over here jumping to conclusion, and yet we don't even know what's going to happen between Cena and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, which let's go ahead and dive into that topic right now. I cannot take my boy serious, and I'm talking about John Cena. I get it. Like when he's behind the mic now, my image of Cena has been shattered now that he's an actor. So when it comes to him being a heel, it's something new, and yet he could have so much room. Hell, we're even freaking paving the streets for him to become a great heel. However, the way how he delivered it this past Monday Night Raw, what the fuck was that? Like, he was over there saying, like, oh, I'm tired of the disrespect. Like, y'all been joking with me by saying y'all can't see me, and now y'all finally see me, this, and that. And then he was saying, like, I'm in a toxic relationship, and now I'm breaking up with you. I'm over here like, my boy, really? Like, I'd rather hear Cena just say, you know what, to the kid over there, give up, just give up, you know, stuff like that. Or whenever he was saying, like, oh, for the people that like me or don't, either way, I'm breaking up with y'all, stuff like that. He could have been rooting for the ones that say, oh, like, Cena is awesome, whatever, like, they're supporting heel Cena. He would have been like, those are the new generations, that's what we support, something like that, because now people that looked up to Cena are saying, oh, well, if Cena's a heel, then we're heels, you know, stuff like that. And it would have been funny, you know, that, and, you know, maybe potentially bring back the Doctor of Thugonomics, you know, because my boy can roast on the mic. He can do it pretty well. When it came to addressing the WWE universe, I think Cena is not used to bashing the universe, because without the fans, he would have been nothing. And he's been doing that for how long? Literally, what, 25 years, I think? I don't even know. And so I get it. It's still different for him. So maybe potentially in the next few weeks to come, he'll improve becoming a heel. But I'm like, bro, we're making it so easy for you. Like, come on. We gave you heel Cena before GTA 6 and you acknowledging that before GTA 6. Like, come on. But still, supposedly tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, Cody Rhodes and John Cena will be in the same building. I wonder if he's going to be able to roast him. And you know what's really crazy? I love how a lot of people can still dig up old storylines and try to, you know, make it relatively new over here. So there was a promo back in 2003. Sweet Jesus, I was a child. And John Cena was talking to Kurt Angle at the time. And he addressed himself as the American Nightmare. Cena walked so Cody can run. That's literally long-term storytelling. I wonder if Cena's gonna bring that back, because he knows, he has social media and he pretty much sees everything that we post. So who knows if he's gonna bring that back. But either way, I'm so entertained by heel Cena. Oh my god, this is like the best time to be alive. Now, the last thing I wanted to touch base is the new matches that they have announced for WrestleMania. So far, I'm like, I mean, they were kind of expected. One in particular, we were talking about Randy Orton. He's going to be going up against Kevin Owens, which I guess. However, we have a feeling Kevin is going to win on this one. I don't know why I want to say that. And it's so sad because they're giving him this opportunity, and yet they still haven't been able to make him as champ once again. So I don't know if they're going to revisit that Cody and Kevin feud. But at the same time, there's a high chance that won't happen, only because there is also a possibility that Cody might lose to John Cena, and John Cena is going to be having that title on him for probably until the remainder of the year before he retires. But yeah, I have a feeling Kevin Owens is going to win this one. The next match, this was literally announced on Friday during SmackDown. It's going to be a triple threat between Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth freaking Rollins. This one is gonna be very intense. It's so sad that CM Punk had to replace Dean Ambrose. If not, that would have been another killer show. But no, tell me why the way how they announced this match. It was literally CM Punk on top of the commentary table pointing at the WrestleMania sign, right? And then next thing you know, they're over there fighting and whatnot. And then Seth ended up pointing at the WrestleMania sign. And I'm over here telling my dad, oh yeah, they're not going to end the show because we're still waiting on Roman Reigns to stop and point at the sign. And what happens? He ends up pointing at the sign, confirming that there was going to be a triple threat. I mean, we knew, but still the way how they announced it, I'm like, really? Just a tiny bit of cringe. Now, here is the prediction. I wasn't expecting it until I started reading the comment section, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are on to something. Even though a lot of people are rooting for CM Punk to win, nobody is looking at the big picture, and that is Paul Heyman. There is a possibility that Seth might win, and the only reason why is because some people are saying that Paul Heyman could possibly betray both Roman Reigns and that favor that he owes to CM Punk and siding with Seth. But then there is that also possibility that Paul Heyman could betray Roman and still side with CM Punk. Either way, Paul Heyman is betraying somebody. Or he's just betraying Roman at this point. I don't know what could happen, but at the same time, expect the unexpected. I cannot wait for WrestleMania already. The other few predictions that I have of the matches that are going to be announced, it still hasn't been confirmed, but I mean, at the same time, it's kind of obvious. One of them is going to be a triple threat match for the WWE World Women's Championship. So it's probably going to be Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. Because on Monday's segment, Rhea ended up signing the contract that Bianca was supposed to sign. And then we're like, so what's going to happen? Is Bianca out of the match? And I'm like, no, it's pretty sure, guaranteed it's going to be a triple threat. And aside from that, the other potential match that could happen at WrestleMania is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. There is a feud going on right there, only because Naomi did beat up Jade, and Jade's over there like, oh, I'm coming after you. So, I mean, it's still entertaining, good enough to have its Mania moment. So, I'm actually rooting for Jade Cargill to win that one. So, we'll see. But yeah, other than that, that basically wraps up this week's episode. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also do not forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. Again, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think we're going to be doing bi-weekly episodes because, sweet Jesus, I mean, we did hit the hour mark with 2 weeks worth of content. So at the same time, I'm like, okay, we'll go ahead and do that. However, do keep following me on social media because you just never know what's happening in the moment to where I need to pull out my phone and just go ahead and talk on social media. So definitely follow that and then stay up to date on what's been happening. But yes, I will be back in 2 weeks and bring back on stuff that you may have missed in pop culture. So I hope you guys did enjoy this week's episode, and as always, I will talk to you guys on the next one.